Hello and welcome to our weekly liminal tarot reading for the week of December 4 through 10, 2022. I'm doing the reading this week at the Rockbox Annex, where I usually do readings on Thursdays and Saturdays, and probably in January on Fridays as well. Now, the cards that we're using, because I've brought a little bit fewer this time, I have the Morgan Greer Tarot over here. I have the Wisdom of the Tao Oracle. I have the Moonology deck. I have the Essential Oil Oracle, and I also have Voices of the Dark Mothers, and of course I have a rune for this week. So the overall message of this week has to do with, first of all, it's really, I think if I could sum it up in two words, it's about getting real, okay? And not just getting real in the sense of, waking up to the way things are, but also in the sense of needing to put the proper amount of work in. There's been a lot of sort of, dreamy Neptune energy around lately, and astrologically, which is great. I mean, it can help us expand and help us, think about things in new ways. But the downside is that sometimes we don't always see things exactly as they are. So let's start over here with tarot. So first of all, we've got the Ten of Swords, we've got the Queen of Swords, and we've got the Hierophant. Okay, this is definitely a sense that there is something that's coming in. There's some need to really cut through the BS and see something exactly for what it is. And now the Hierophant is a card that has to do with tradition, and you can read that potentially in one of two ways. It could be saying that, as much as we like to go off script, sometimes we need to refocus ourselves on the tried and true and the traditional. But it also may be suggesting that the traditional narratives may be what's holding us back. So obviously you can see how that applies within your life situation. I'm kind of, I don't know, my gut feeling when I first looked at this is that this has more to do with the idea that you can't, the old expression, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as we make certain changes and get rid of things, make sure we're not getting rid of old stuff that does work, So this is about seeking clarity and getting real and finally bringing some kind of a situation to an end. We have the Abundance card here, which is great because it's a big yes card for anything that you're trying to do. But the Abundance card does require a certain amount of work. It's suggesting that, yes, you can get to where you want to be, but don't think you're just, you can't be lazy about it. There's going to be a certain amount of effort involved, a certain amount potentially of sacrifice, because there's a lack of patience when they're, with the energies of this card, when somebody is, wants to claim abundance but doesn't necessarily want to do anything for it. Now, sometimes things just come to us naturally in the flow, and I think that's going to be part of it as well. But this does suggest that, we can manifest what we want, but we need to put the effort in. Moonology definitely backs this idea up, this idea of your hard work is paying off. This new moon in Capricorn says it's time to look at our plans. It may be the time to lay new plans. We can have what we want, but again, it's a new moon card, so this has to do with being at the beginning of something, and it's a cycle that does involve putting out a real plan and trying to find a way to move forward with things. So, we see this idea that we can most definitely have what we want, and, our hard work can pay off and we can get to where we want to be. But we do need to look at our plan and make sure that we we have defined our goals and that we're on the track that we want to be on. The Essential Oil Oracle, we have the Amplify card. And our trigger statement here with the Magnolia is, I can't get anything right. And the true statement is, I am in divine time. So you want to harness your loving energy and watch as one miracle unfolds after another. So again, when I see this particular phrase, I tend to think of the Queen of Swords. There's a perfectionist tendency here. So as we're doing the work, we want to make sure that we're going with the flow. You don't want to sometimes we can pay so much attention to the detail that we never actually move forward with anything because everything isn't quote unquote just right. So really this is saying that, when I see this phrase divine time, it suggests to me that the timing is finally right for something. So, we can take those plans that we've had on hold and finally put them into action. And, and as we put our energy in the direction that we want to go, we can actually watch things manifest. It's this idea of amplify, which goes very much along with the idea of abundance. Now over here we have the Hecate card, okay? And Hecate, basically is saying that we need to, just wanted to check myself on one aspect of this, because I had a phrase and now the phrase has gone out of my head. Yeah, focus on your ability to listen rather than need to lecture. Guarding someone from the truth is not helping them. Okay, yeah. So this has to do with, again, the idea of get real. You don't want to, you need to be able to see things exactly as they are, not in through some kind of rose-colored glasses. So, so this card has to do with, again, there's this idea of, seeing things as they really are so that you can actually, you're not working from a false place. The Tower card will often come up, which we don't have in this reading, but the Tower often comes up when we, are building things on a false foundation that's eventually going to be torn down. I mean, the Ten of Swords can imply that as well. So there's this idea that, there's kind of a, there's an old, we want to get rid of the old ways of doing things. Maybe not everything. Maybe there are some things that are still key. But we need to see things for what they really are, if we're going to make any meaningful progress. Now, finally, our Norse rune over here is Odila. And Odila is the rune of separation. So again, separating paths. It's time to let something go. It really corresponds to this card over here. I can move this over here. And, it's this idea that something has come to an end, and it's because whatever we're separating from isn't proper to who we are anymore. Okay, so we need to really acknowledge that. Just as we get rid of things that we don't like, the quote unquote the bad old way, we may tend to lose sight of the fact that sometimes there are things that we have become very comfortable with, that it's also time to let go of, because even though they were very perhaps served us well, or felt familiar, or felt nostalgic, or whatever. There is definitely a sense here of moving forward. My daily card for today actually had been, in my other reading, the Five of Cups, which also kind of embodies this energy. We're more looking at, we're sad about things we've lost or that we feel we have to give up, rather than looking at what the benefits are nearby, or what the potential future, could hold, or where we could go if we focused on opportunities rather than on losses. So overall, the message this week, as I said earlier, get real, see things for what they really are, and plan your strategy, around that. You don't need to be an over-perfectionist. You don't necessarily need to cling to tradition, although sometimes there are certain tried and true methods that might be worthwhile. You want to put the work in, and you want to direct your energy, and you can watch how things unfold. But just don't be delusional about things. Don't try to see things. It's not helpful right now to live too far in the fantasy world. You want to keep your feet on the ground. That said, there's a lot of opportunities, and you can also dream big. So it's going to be walking that line over this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.